Maybe you think you know it, but do your results show it? That's what we're talking about today on the live streams of Activate Your Prosperous Life. We're all coming together to really go deep. We've had last minute joiners. This stream is getting full every day, and I'm so blessed. And you know, if I followed my fears, I would have been thinking, oh, nobody's going to show up. And how am I going to get people to want to come to this? But I never even went there. I didn't even think about it. I just set it up as an opportunity, and it seems to be fulfilling as prophecy. So we're going to talk about that. You think you might know why you're not getting what you want, but maybe you have a blind spot. Maybe you have an upper limit. Maybe you're not holding yourself accountable. Maybe you don't have any support. We're going to go deeper into the different reasons or excuses or ways that we get in our way when we're starting our business, we're wanting a relationship that is our dream relationship, or we're wanting the dream home or the things that we want and desire in our life, and we just are wondering, why is it not working? Why is it not working? So you're joining us with the featured speakers from the Activate Your Prosperous Life Summit, which is an interview series summit. So every speaker here has a full interview with free gifts and VIP gifts that you can get access to. And I have more speakers coming in just as I'm talking here, because this is such a popular event. And we are inviting you to join us with Activating Our Prosperous Lives this year. I'm going to start with Arena. Arena, what do you have to say about you think you know it, but do your results show it?
Yeah, I love that topic because, again, a lot of times I even encounter a lot of people coming to me and say, but I know about the law of attraction because this is what I teach people. I was using it, but I read the books, I watched the movies, right? And people do not realize there is a difference between information and transformation. Just by consuming a lot of information, it does not mean that it's going to transform us. What does that mean? Well, just imagine you are watching your favorite sports. Like for me, it's an ice skating. If I'm watching on TV ice skating, I might know the moves. I might know what it means to have like great performance. But unless I stand up on the skis myself, right, ice skating, right, things, boots on the ice, and start doing these moves, that's exactly when I start to master my craft. And the same thing happens with the personal transformation. Transformation is actually the experience when we allow ourselves to go deeper, to experiment, to do different actions, to do different exercises, to use different tools. And that is something that gives us the results. Again, this is a huge, huge misconception that a lot of people think that by just reading the book, they can transform their life, and everything comes in layers. And I always say, we were never meant to do it alone. Hire the mentor who can speed up the process, because when you are working with somebody, you're going to cut your time. And let's face it, time is something that money can't buy.
I love what you're saying there. Time is money. And you can't buy more of it. Well, maybe you can if you hire and delegate your time better. You can buy assistants and social media assistants, or Kartra assistants to help you produce events and get results that you're thinking of, because you don't have to do it all by yourself. I could not do it all by myself. This summit would not happen without the 33 speakers. It would not happen without tech assistance. It would not happen without a mentor coaching me through the whole process of hosting and gathering speakers for a summit. Kelsey, tell us more about what you think about what you think you know and the results that you get.
Well, I was thinking about, you mentioned a car metaphor at the end of one of these lives this week. And, we do things that we want to do, things we're passionate about when we're really excited about them. For this entire month, I have not gotten a new battery put in my car and had it jump started. So I've been Ubering the times that I need to go places because I would rather show up here and rather be, promoting my business on social media, rather be doing all the back end things here, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm not really passionate about getting my car fixed and driving it around for half an hour. And my clients are the same way, except on the things that they are passionate about. So I try to redirect people to find a way to connect to that excitement, to that thing that makes you passionate about the thing that you don't necessarily want to do, but know that you have to do.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, so you're redirecting your priorities right now because they are moving your business forward. Being visible on social media with us, being visible as a speaker in the summit is moving your business forward because you're showing your face every day for a whole month. We actually don't know the consequences, the good consequences of doing that immediately. And so those results sometimes take a little bit to show, but you have to, we're all planting seeds and growing like shrubs right now and trees. And then maybe in a month or maybe tomorrow, a fruit will pop out. A fruit will pop out. Melissa, tell us a bit more about what you think about. You think you know it, but do your results show it? You've been an entrepreneur for a long time.
I have, there was a time when the results used to give me so much anxiety. Like I would look at the results and always feel like, is it enough though? Like, is it actually enough to justify the prices I'm charging or to call in additional clients or whatever? So I think I kind of have a little bit of a different take on this, where what has shifted for me in the last several years is like, set the goal, trust the outcomes, trust the client results, trust the client acquisition process, like act as if, put in all the systems, do all the things, and then just trust that like what shows up is what's in my highest alignment. And my goodness, I think back to 2021 and 2022. 2021 was the year that I was extra in the like, look at the results in this very proving, kind of space. And then 2022, I let go. And for about a year, the universe was like, how long can you let go? How unattached can you be? And it was really, really slow and low. And I was like, man, maybe just trying to, maneuver with more ease actually is not possible. But I kept testing it. And now I can say it really is like, you act as if, but then you have to practice that non-attachment. And I think that goes with any of our goals. So yeah, just speaking to the side of like, also maybe we could get a little too crazy on our results.
Yes, we can get obsessive and become attached, and it can cause, well, I don't know how to say it otherwise. Attachment. It's like you get attached to the expectations. You get attached to the way it shows up and how it should look, instead of letting go and trusting that your result is going to appear in the best way possible. It might not be exactly how you think, but there is some energy that you're still putting towards to manifest that result. You're not just like letting go and doing nothing. You're still holding the container for it to manifest. Linda, tell us about what you now, how you navigate with yourself and maybe your clients with getting results and thinking how they should show up.
Well, I think there's a big difference between knowing something and actually embodying it or feeling it. You can know the right steps to take. You can even take those steps. But if you don't feel it, I think that you've got to get to the energy of it, the emotion of it. And I find that's a big, big difference. Often with my clients, they've done so much. They've studied so much. They've taken so many programs. They know what to do. Often they could teach the classes I'm teaching. They know it, but they don't know how to apply it to themselves. They're not feeling it. So it's not just about knowing and then doing the steps. You've got to be energetically aligned, I think, with what you're doing, what your purpose is. And it's not about action, it's about inspired action and aligned action. I used to be really, really good at doing. If I was working with a business coach and they would suggest something to me, I'd probably have it done by the end of the day. I was very, very good at doing, but was it always the right thing for me to do? No. And so therefore my results didn't show it. It wasn't until I took a step back, paused, and really connected with what it is I want to achieve, made sure it was in alignment with who I am, and then take inspired action. That's when results started to come. So you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if knowing it is not enough. It's like, how do you apply it? It's more of an energetic, emotional movement, I feel, not just about knowing what to do.
Yeah. And it's okay to not know what to do.
Absolutely.
It's almost better.
Sometimes it's better.
It's almost better. Yeah. It's almost
It is.
better saying, I don't know how to do this.
Mhm.
So how can I get support to help me know the best steps to take?
Yeah.
Lauren, in your world, you create retreats for people. You help people put things together. Actually, you're in marketing as well. How do you help us get results?
Yeah, I love this topic. And Linda, I'm going to kind of like hone in on what you said too, because it's so important that it's like through my marketing, through helping people plan their retreats, and then my own retreats, I'm very system organized, very system oriented. I've been focusing on like the hows, and this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and then like helping clients have that container of support. But then I find, and this is something that I've worked through too, is like there's a lot of energetic resonance that needs to be in alignment too with what they're even creating. They can think that they want a certain thing, but there might be some misalignments about how they're thinking or feeling about it, which can be self-sabotage. It can be, who am I to put on this retreat? Who am I to charge these prices? All of these things. And I'm guilty of that as well. What I've recently come through, which it's changed everything for my business. I have been working with a personal coach for over 2 years now, 2 years next month. It has been the best decision of my life. So anybody watching this, get yourself a coach if you're really ready to go to the next level and uncover your stuff. Because I had all this stuff going on in my operating system under the radar that I had no idea. I was very focused. I've got the right systems. Why isn't this working? But because I wasn't working it towards my systems, my internal systems. So what my personal coach and I did is we took my entire human design, astrology, and even my numerology and put it into like this soul blueprint, which I'd done like on a surface level. I'm like, okay, I can work in this way. But what he did was just like take it and like 10x it, and like, you need to rest more. You need to stop trying to produce more. You need to actually like go with your internal flow, and like all of these things based again on my astrology is like had all of these elements where I hide, where I function high, where I am comfortable being seen, where I'm not comfortable being seen, and allowed me to adapt my schedule, my personal care, my soul care that we keep talking about on these calls, all towards what actually works for me. And it has been life-changing. So I recommend that anybody, if you're not getting the results that you want, look at the way that your soul blueprint is like formatted, I guess, in the 3D and operate to what works for you. Everyone else can have all these systems and they teach what works for them, but find the way that it works for you.
Yeah. And I can say that all of us in the room have a system, a methodology that we discovered and made for ourselves. But then there is the adaptability. There is the intuitive knowing and intuitive listening of letting go of our way and opening up to your way when we're connecting with you, when we're mentoring with you, when we're holding space for your transformation. And so it's not necessarily about teaching you our way and how we got it done. It's about tuning in and listening to your needs, your desires, your goals, and being open to providing you the support for your way that you are discovering. Kirsten, you talk a lot about identity. I'm interested to hear what you're going to say.
That's exactly where I was going to go. But I first wanted to quote a friend of mine who says, I don't care what you know. Can you embody what it is that you know? Are you actually showing up in that fullness of what you claim to know? Going back to what Irina said, right? The like information versus transformation. This is knowing versus embodiment. And really that process starts with identity. As you pointed out, it is the identity that you hold. Are you holding that, and are you clear on the identity that you want? Then let's take for entrepreneurs, the very basic one of, are you an amateur or are you professional? That identity will have you show up in life in a very different way, and it will change your results, right? And then you bring in, especially in our group, and the people I work with, the regenerative sustainability entrepreneurs, right? Are you clear on your core principles and values, right? We generally are, but are they aligned with your identity? And then are they aligned with your vision? And, we talk about results. Are you clear on the actual results you want? We think we know what our results should be or what we want them to be, when really there is, and we talked about, I think yesterday, about egos and all these parts that are basically shrouding our clarity, right? We think we want to go that way, but when we get quiet and listen internally, all of a sudden the path actually points this way, and it's different results. So maybe the results that you think you ought to be getting but are not are because your path is actually that way. This is about full alignment, getting quiet, starting to embody the identity of who you want to become, and that's going to open up the pathway to the results you ultimately really want.
And it's so much easier when you work with somebody who's specializing in helping you to understand what your identity, because it can be confusing. It can be confusing being out there all by yourself, figuring it out all on your own, how to manifest, to realize your purpose, to create the prosperity, doing what you love. But when you're surrounded by people who are, been doing this work for a long time, they've done a lot of things and tried and failed and tried and succeeded. And then, it's about experimenting and experiencing and doing the field testing. And what worked before might not work now. It happens as well. What worked before might not work now. Robert, you talk a lot about energy leaks and shamanism from your perspective. Tell us how you're coming at this angle.
Yeah. Of course, I had the chance to listen to everybody, and it's really wonderful. I want to give it a different twist. You know how often I explain something to people or my clients, and they're like, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know." And I stop them right there in their tracks, and I say, "No, you don't know. Your intellect is standing in the way of grasping what you need to embody." So I always challenge them. I'm going, "No, you don't know." And they're like, completely distinct. "No, I know. No, you don't know. That's a trap of your mind. If you say you know, you don't have to exert yourself anymore. You don't have to continue investigating." So it's like, no, not until you know how to put it into practice, you can tell me you know. So you can always tell. You can always tell somebody is in the embodiment of the things that he wants to put out in the world or not. It's very simple, because the world itself is that mirror reflection. The results is the world. So you have to fine tune. And one thing I think is really important, and then I'll stop right there. We can push as much as we want, but we have to be more aware, and this is really shamanic, of the cycles. There is a moment within a cycle where you need to know when to push forward, when to step back, when to activate, when to connect, when to get people around you that will support you in your goals, And there are very, very specific moments in these cycles. And if you know when these moments are, it's almost impossible to fail, really. So that's basically my approach. And farmers know that. Farmers know that. They're really connected to the cycles of nature.
Yeah. And the cycles take practicing, they take listening, they take watching and observing. And I like that you said about being in tune and tuning yourself. We've been tuning ourselves. We're now on like day 24 of the live streams or something. And what I have noticed as we come together regularly, and I fumble my words and I mess them up and all that kind of stuff, but then sometimes I'm really clear, and I think when I'm over prepared, I think I know how it's going to go. But if I sit back and relax and just listen and travel along and let it flow on its own, the conversation, the discussion goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And so when I think I know how it should happen, I usually get in my own way. But when I just go with the flow, because I'm prepared, but I just let go of that preparedness in some way, shape, or form. I can't explain it exactly how I let go, but I just, almost embrace and embody, okay, let's go with the flow and see what happens, and be in the I don't know mind of letting it show up how it really wants to. Imani, you talk about the divine ecosystem and cycles as well. Take this a little further or deeper. You're muted at the moment.
Yeah, there we go. Got it. Yeah, so I wanted to look at results. Clients will hire a coach. They might hire someone to handle the software, reach specific targets, and they are attached to those results. But imagine you book a stage and you're going to serve. You're expecting 500, but only 5 show up. Right? Do you show up different? What does that mean for how you prepared and what you applied, what you know, right? And sometimes we are attached to those results, but I'd like to look at the results we're receiving from our actions as feedback. It's showing you how you are, what you're attracting, what you're magnetizing, right? And can you turn the disappointment of 5 people showing up instead of 500 into some powerful impact and results? What is the intention you set out? And are you reading the results in an aligned way, right? How are you framing these so-called results, right? Are you going to be disappointed because you hired somebody to get 500 in the room? These results or these outcomes it's feedback. And if you read that feedback in a way that supports you, that 5 can still be be the results you were looking for in terms of impact, right? So trust what feedback you're getting and allow it to teach you and allow it to invite you to continue to embody more of what you think you know. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, feedback. It's everything is a feedback loop, like a result loop. I love that. Michelle, tell us about the body and thinking the body, and does it agree?
I love what Linda was saying earlier, because I am one of those people, right? I am a quick thinker. I can teach something I just learned, all of the things. And so, one of my teachers very, very early on in my career said that insight does not create change. It just doesn't. It's great information, but it doesn't actually create change. And so I had to really consistently push myself to have those embodied experiences. I had to practice. I had to feel. I had to let it sink into my bones and let the insight and the embodied experience combine to create the magic, right? And so I know, the reason we hire coaches, a lot of it is, one, we're in it. We need that person who gives us the bigger picture, right? Who's holding the bigger picture, who sees all of the different pieces, our energy, our thoughts, helps us dig up those unconscious processes, whatever it might be. We need the person who holds that for us and with us. And then we need to be the one in the experience, right? Playing with it, practicing it, all of that. So I think that, for me, the results have always come from the experience itself, getting comfortable with it. They say that, it takes 10 years before you are a master at something. And it's because you can know all of the things, but you haven't practiced it enough, run into enough of those barriers to really have it inhabited in your system, in your body. And so that, I believe, is what all of this work that we do. We are holding that bigger picture, and we're also supporting the practice of the things that are going to help us get those results.
I love that. And there's a practice to activating higher consciousness. And say you're practicing, but you're not seeing any results, right? Whatever it is that you're practicing. That doesn't mean you should give up. Maybe it means there's some adjustments. Maybe it means you need some help or support. Maybe it means you just haven't been doing it long enough. Because I teach meditation and I've been doing it for 30 years. But, at the beginning, it's going to be like, I don't know if I'm doing this right or whatever, or it doesn't seem to be working. You're going to give yourself a lot of excuses to give up. But when you're working with a professional who is, seeing your potential and sees the bigger picture of the potential of your potential, like your potential is impacting bigger than you ever can imagine. And so when you give up, you don't always just give up on yourself because you're not getting the results that you think you should have. You're also giving up on that mission or that purpose or that bigger result that you're affecting in the ripple effect of the butterfly effect or the wave of consciousness that we're all connected to. And so I get a little bit, I'm constantly fine tuning myself because as we raise in frequency, and this summit has been raising my frequency, I have to also manage and know that I'm changing. And so how I said something before might be heard differently now. Or, I have to watch and manage things that I didn't realize I had to manage before because I didn't even know they existed. So when you start creating something bigger than yourself, you're like, oh, interesting. I never saw that before. And now you're in it and you're being held and supported and you're holding together a container. You're relying on your coaches to help you. You want them even more. I'm meeting with my coaches 3 to 5 times a week nowadays to master this, to get good at something like this. And to imagine after I do the 10th summit, how much different is going to be and expansive for me. And also a little bit being unexpected. I didn't expect to have this much of a success with the live streams, with the energy of people coming. I want to get on today. And telling me last minute I'm coming. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And so you can also be held in this container with us because we're co-creating something bigger than we can imagine at the moment. And it is about prosperity. It's about having a prosperous life. And it's not just for us, it's for everybody. And we are making moves, we're taking actions that we actually don't know the exact result of it, but it feels really good. So come in the VIP room with us and get closer to us and feel really good about pressing the button on, I don't know, but I trust, I feel like I need to do something to initiate a new way, a new pathway for myself. and is very inexpensive to get into the VIP. It's $67, and you get lifetime access to all of these beautiful, intelligent, wise masters. It's like Jedi Knight training in this VIP portal, like at the fingertips, And so at least register for the summit, and then consider taking that VIP move, which is a very in tune person, or a very illuminated person, or a very intelligent person. There's a lot of ways of saying it. So I'm going to go with Irina again here. We're going to talk. Her talk title is actually Manifest Cash on Demand. Would you like to know how to do that? Go for it, Irina.
Yay, I love it. You know what? A lot of times people associate money with something like, very far away. It's so hard to get. And I say, you can manifest money the same way as you can manifest parking spot, as you can manifest that cup of coffee. The more you actually start connecting with that, the more you're going to see the evidence that's showing up for us. And again, it's not that, you've never been exposed to this work and you're just panicking, how can I do it? I can definitely show you how. It's all about just making a decision that you want to do that, right? That's why when we have somebody by our side, this is the person who is going to guide you and show you the steps that bring you to that clarity, right? Again, I love money. I keep saying about it, and I don't have any shame around it because I have my own lifestyle. And this is something that my essence wants. This is something that my soul wants. And money is the energy, like anything else. Again, money touches everything in our life. We cannot ignore it. And for people who are ignoring money, or for people who are saying, I don't care about money, do you really think that money are going to be invited in your life? Right? Everything starts from how do we actually think about money, and how we talk to money, and how we actually handle the money. So everything is interconnected in order for us to manifest money on demand. And again, a lot of people are trying to save and cut the corners, saying, okay, I'm going to cut on this membership. I'm not going to invest in the coach, not realizing that cutting the money and saving, this is not the connection to the wealth. The connection to the wealth, when you start asking the different question, when you are asking yourself, what can I do? What step can I take to create more money? And it's absolutely different. Like Kristen was saying about identity, you start thinking on a different wavelengths. So your thoughts are starting to match what you're truly inviting into your life. And that's exactly what I love to teach people. Just connect with the thoughts that are on the creation side, because we are all creators. And a lot of people are not even realizing we create with every breath that we are taking. And a lot of times we create from fear and from frustration and from anxious state, right? And I just show people, hey, you can do it with ease, with love, with fun. And that's exactly what I love to teach. So to manifest money on demand is very simple, as long as you just really understand how it all works.
I love that you say that. And I had something drop in that I want to say, but I'm going to hold it because it was still percolating. Kelsey, your fierce you, lead with confidence and power is your talk. And how does resistance to our I don't know, something's percolating here. How do you see this? How does your talk fit in with this topic? Thinking what we know.
Yeah, I think that the being able to lead with confidence and power is about what Amani and you, Jennifer, have said, about when you face the results, if 5 people show up instead of 500, or you're percolating, and so you don't use the correct words, or you're just sort of in the flow. Some leaders really can't adapt and be flexible and get into their confidence and power when they're faced with sort of the results that don't meet their expectations. And part of what being able to be fierce and really be embodied in our own roles as leaders, as healers, as space holders, is that flexibility, that adaptability, and that resilience to go between one thing to the next thing, and to really be able to do that in a way that still people feel that power and our embodiment of that. And so, you know, the program and the talk that I gave is a way of developing that emotional resiliency and really tapping into that creative flow and our own creativity, how that works in our systems and how that then shows up in the world.
I like how you're saying that. And then the thing that is percolating for me got interrupted because I looked at some notes that I prepared and it didn't match with the flow. So then I was like, you know, like it didn't match. And so that's why I was like, I'm stumped here, but it's okay. I can just say I'm stumped. But what's percolating is this over analyzing and overthinking separates the body from the mind. It's actually a lyric from a song I've been singing in my head for a while. And it withers our intuition. And so when we start overthinking and overanalyzing about what we think we know and how we think we're going to get it done and how we think we're going to get the results, we basically cut off our channel to our body and the intuitive centers that are inside of the body. They're inside of the body. They're not like out here. They're in this channel here. Linda, tell us more about imposter syndrome, and your talk is breaking free from it, breaking free from imposter syndrome.
Yes, I wanted to build a little bit on what Imani said, because, you know, results are really the key to you understanding what's going on with you internally. And I'm going to share a client example because I think it really highlights this, and it also highlights why you need a coach to guide you through this process. So I had a client who had been working at the same company for many years, and she was very frustrated because she never got promoted. New people would come in and they would ask her to train these new people, and these new people very often got promoted. She always got overlooked for promotion. So that was what she came to me with. So as we dug a little deeper, we identified the belief of I'm not good enough, I'm an imposter. So, you know, we worked with the energy of that. We also worked with the energy of her home, because in her case, she had inherited her house from her parents and she had not had a happy childhood. They constantly criticized her. And this is where the belief came from, that I'm not good enough. So we worked on that. She was diligently doing the inner work and the work in her environment. And a couple of weeks later, she called me in a panic and said, it's not working. And I said, okay, why is it not working? She said, well, they've just laid me off. They've just told me they don't need me anymore in my company. So this is the kind of thing where that result can reinforce that belief that says, well, see, I'm not good enough. I'm not meant to do this, right? So I asked her to I said, I think this is happening because it is working. And this is exactly what's supposed to happen. So I want you to continue to make the energetic changes that you were making, and we'll go from there. And then within about a week, she had received a call from someone she knew, someone she worked with at another company that she had worked with in her previous job. And they immediately just offered her a job. They knew her capabilities. The money was a lot higher. They really, really wanted her. And one of the best things of all, from my perspective, is that it was in another state. So she got to sell that house that didn't support her. And then she moved to another state, chose her own home that really did support her. I mean, that's a great example of, you start to do the work and then you don't get the result that you want. And you think, oh my gosh, I'm failing. I'm not good enough, you know. And if you didn't have a coach, you would stay stuck in that. But, you know, if you keep going, then you get to the other side of it and you get to the thing that was even better than you could have ever imagined. If she'd have been miserable staying in that company, even if she was promoted, I think, because they truly didn't value and appreciate her. And that's what we focused on. Let's find you, we want you to be valued and appreciated in your work. Maybe that's at that company, maybe it isn't. And it turned out that it wasn't. So I just wanted to share that example because it really shows you how results, as Imani said, give you information, right? And in this case, she wasn't supposed to be there. She wasn't supposed to still be in that house. There was something much better for her. So
nice. Lauren, your your talk is sustainable soul care for conscious leaders. How are you going to lead off from that? What are you going to come with? I love when your perspectives are, I never expect what you're going to say. So it's amazing.
Thank you. Me neither. It just kind of comes.
Yeah.
I love this. Not scripted. Yeah, I've been thinking about that while listening to everyone else. I think I want to hone in real quick, both with what Linda and Amani are saying, and Kelsey touched on it too, is like, if the whole thing about not paying attention to the results, yes, they're feedback, it's information, but it's how you interpret it to mean something. If we start to go and lower our frequency into doubt, self-doubt, and it makes it mean something about our worthiness, then we start to drop, and then we start creating from that space, which then creates more of the same results. If we can stay high and be like, well, 5 people showed up. Oh, well, I'm still going to show up for that presentation exactly the same way that I would show up for 500 people, and continue on that path and be like, well, that was a fluke. I'm still going, and keep that frequency. I think that's part of the manifestation of creating what we want to see. How I've learned that, and how we kind of infuse that into our retreats and our messaging, and a lot of our retreat products, is this soul care is in doing that kind of work on the inside is what then affects the entire field for your entire life. With Key Retreat Box, we've really honed in on this idea that when you are paying attention to your inner sanctuary, when you are stop being outer focused and come back inside, that's the garden that we need to tend to and pull the weeds out of self-doubt, worthiness. And then it like automatically activates these divinity codes. Like our entire mission with Orion retreats, and then it comes into Key Retreat Box, is like, awaken to your divinity. You are a co-creator of the universe with our creator, whether you call it universe, source, God, goddess, it's all the same energy. God is love, love is God, right? And when we can be in partnership with that, then we can create what we want. So we can manifest it, yes, but we have to be in this like internal dialogue. And it's so important, because when you think about the results that you're getting, like, make sure that you are in alignment with what you're asking for, how you're operating, because it's the world will reflect your operating system. So shifting that, going inside and working with your own codes and activating those and clearing out all the junk that's in there that keeps strangling the new life that's trying to come up. That's the work that needs to be done. And that's what we're really here to do, is help people just remember their divinity, not even just activate, but remember we are all divine. We are part and parcel of the divine, and God spark, as I'd like to call it too. So yeah, not my term. I got it from somebody else, but
I mean, I was reflecting back to a time when I was in a year-long shamanic intensive training, and I was in the practice, and I was in the 3D world working as a CFO for a restaurant and cheese shop. And they like to gossip, and they like to talk about people's behind their back. And it could become a real like cliquey thing. And one of my practices that I started installing was like, I'm not going to complain or gossip, and I'm not going to feed anybody when they do it. Like, I'm not going to engage. Well, I got thrown out of the ring, I ended up actually getting fired because I would not engage, right? Like with that. And so it caused myself to, the inner work I was doing was causing a ripple effect in the area I was working in with the people. And they didn't like it because I didn't feed their drama. And so I wasn't fun anymore. I wasn't fun to hang around with, and they didn't want me in their circle anymore. But it was the best thing that could have happened for me. And it was what I was asking for, because I didn't know how to get out of there and start doing my purpose work, right? So it might not, when there's creation, there is destruction. Another story, we're developing landscape, and the landscaper this morning, right before this call, is like, oh, we're taking this out and taking this out. And I'm like, oh my God, you're taking all my trees out. And they're like, but it's necessary so we can see what the new plan's going to be, because we can't see the forest through the trees, like we can't see. And so sometimes there has to be movement and clearing before the new can come in. Kirsten, your talk is all about thriving at the frontier of change. That's the title of it, but it's what you speak on. It's what you
Yeah.
speak on all the time.
Yes. Yes. And I want to just piggyback on what you just said, because I would actually phrase it slightly differently. You said they don't want you. They didn't want you. And so they pushed
Well, I didn't
you
want to
out.
be in their system.
I was going to say you changed, and this is the real key understanding is you changed, and therefore your reality changed.
Yeah.
You jettisoned the reality that didn't match who you are now anymore. And I'm working with that and with one of my clients right now, who's just, I mean, she is just skyrocketing with everything that we're working on. And one of the things is, I mean, she texts me is like, I don't know how to interact with the people in my life anymore. I don't know how to be, right? And that is actually frontier of change. I had this little aha, like you had an aha today. It's like when I say thriving at the frontier of change, you know, when I first came up with that title, I was thinking of all the people who are creating the world we want to live in, the regenerative, harmonious, beautiful world. And I realized, well, duh, this is also the fractal of the internal thriving at the frontier of change. When you change, your reality will change and shapeshift around you. It's not because you made them change or made them go away. It's because you are different. And so what does not fit anymore will leave. And how are you going to gracefully navigate that? Somewhere today we talked about attachment. Are you attached to that which is known, or can you be in grace and in flow and in trust that you're complete with this reality and you're now bringing in a new reality? And so I'm having her visualize every day a community of people that are so aligned with who she is right now and the thriving that brings. And to bring it back to, you know, the regenerative entrepreneurs, of people who want to help create and usher in a more beautiful world, we have got to hold that reality. We got to hold in our beingness the reality of a joyful, thriving, regenerative reality based on reciprocity and all of those values that regeneration holds. But we can't do it from blame and finger pointing and judgment and all of the things that have been in this world, frankly, of environmental sustainability and all that, right? We've got to actually hold the thriving in ourselves. And then we get to thrive at the frontier of change and move through those changes internally as well as externally.
I love it. I love it. And so what's the hidden energy trap that can get in our way when we're trying to, you know, when we're changing, when we're upgrading, when we're up leveling, when we're building something new? Robert.
We have to stay uplifted. It is about energy. And my emotions are always showing me wherever I am on the scale between depression and or feeling really great. You know, and I only have one objective, is moving up that scale, and in every circumstance, making sure that myself and or the person that I just met, we walk away feeling uplifted. You know, and I also have a really wonderful example when it comes to hidden energy trap. Well, Imani, I love your example. I drove about 500 miles once all the way to Berlin because my assistants had organized an information evening that I would give a presentation there. So I show up, and there was one person in the room, and that person was drunk. Can you imagine? And so you know, what, am I going to get depressed? Well, I had learned enough to know, hey, you know, if this is not it, now I'm going to pay attention because there's something greater that's coming my way. So I just said to my assistants, well, most likely you two are supposed to be giving this presentation. And if you guys get to make this drunk guy understand my teachings, I'm going to promote you. So we had a wonderful evening, and I just listened to my assistants that could practice on this drunk guy, you know. Anyway, it's long story short, the next day we had a full house. It was completely full. We just postponed it. We said, hey, whatever. And we didn't make any effort whatsoever. It was a full house. And out of that full house, I gained like around 5-6 new clients. So again, if I'm going to be so invested, one thing I just want to add, I would have never even been able to figure out how I got where I am today. It's divine intervention. You need to trust, put it in motion, and go in full for the ride.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Go in full for the ride. And when it doesn't feel good, sometimes it's also the right thing happening for you. And that's the time you need your coaches and your mentors and your support systems the most.
Absolutely.
You don't have to struggle alone, right, Imani? Your talk is activate your divine abundance ecosystem. How does, what are you tapping into?
I was thinking about the time that I tried to grow watermelon in my backyard, like those little small round watermelons, and I planted 2. And I'm doing all of the things in that ecosystem to nurture and grow this watermelon. And I noticed a squirrel got to eating. When it started to grow and I started seeing it emerge, I'm seeing the success, and a squirrel started eating it. The other one I had an opportunity to protect. So I went and I got this little frame thing that could go around that watermelon, the other one, and protect it as it grew. And so having those 2 moments to learn and apply what I was teaching myself about how to grow this watermelon for once in this climate I'm in, and to really, again, have the results show me what I'm doing, what's working, what's not, and to be able to accommodate and shift accordingly. And so that year, when the season ended, we had 1 instead of 2 watermelons. But the next year, here's my opportunity to take what I knew and apply it and continue to grow. And with the seasons changing, some days that thing needed more water. Like, you have to watch and accommodate and adjust and flow and continue to embody what you know about the thing that you're doing in order to get results. And so I think that the way everyone has shared today, when you apply all of this information, this supports you in recognizing when you think you know it, you're going to be invited to embody it even more. You just need to continue to apply it. And those results will continue to fluctuate. Some days you're going to get exactly what you asked for. Some days you're going to get even more than what you asked for. But the key is recognizing what you're doing within and that inner choices that you're making and how you're radiating, how you are instructing reality. It's going to be revealed to you in that feedback, and you get to play with it. It's almost like a canvas that you're constantly creating this work of art. You can master what's going on within you, but you're never going to fully get the results exactly as you like them all the time. And that's okay.
Because there might be better than what you could think or envision.
The key is mastering yourself. Yeah.
And the whole world doesn't know this concept, okay? Like, not everybody knows this. And we might be talking about things you've never heard about. But thank you for being curious and for tuning in and just listening and wondering, like, oh, I'd love to talk to one of you. I'd love to get in the room with one of you. I'd love to find out more about what you're talking about, because it might be sparking something in you never sparked before. Follow that. That's your intuition, or some form or way that your intuition might be guiding you. Michelle, your talk is, I love the talk title you have, because I giggle every time. Feeling called to your next level? Cool. But does your body agree? Like, you can get really cool with that.
Oh, there's so many pieces. I love this forum just because it's like I feel like I'm pulling little threads from each person as they speak. It's just such a beautiful tapestry of different ways of approaching similar things. I absolutely love it. The thing that I would say, I think in our culture we have things backwards. Thinking should be in service to our body's wisdom and not the other way around. And we tend to think, cognition is king, what we think, the strategy, the way we've planned it, all of those things are what's going to get us the result. And that is important. But if, as everybody's already been saying, we're not in touch with ourselves, our own energy, what we want, if we haven't practiced the energy that we want more of, then it's going to be really hard to get there. And I think that, because of my specialty, we think of trauma as frozen energy. And so we can have a large boulder in the middle of a stream and only so much water, it's going to be going around it, right? It's like it has to come around the sides. And if that boulder is removed, the energy is really flowing in this unrestricted way. And so a lot of the work that I do when it comes to leadership, standing on stages, sharing your message, all of the things is really around how do we get that energy flowing so that we are unrestricted, unlimited, and we can have all of the positive thinking in the world. But if we have that frozen tension in our system, it's going to be a barrier to full access. And so I just wanted to add that kind of like concrete piece. I have a particular client. I love her so much. She's does all of the things. Her Joe Dispenza meditations, she's affirmations. She even does singing affirmations for other people. She's lovely. And she came to me specifically because she knew she was holding some childhood trauma that she could just feel it in her body. It was a barrier for her to be able to just really like unleash all of the things she knew she had to offer into the world. So yeah, I just felt the need to kind of wrap things up with that piece. I know trauma is not the sexiest word, and it can feel heavy in rooms, and that's why I work with it, because I want to be able to allow the full emergence of someone's vitality, personality, energy, all of the things. Yeah.
And when you become a master at something that you've been practicing for a long time and you've gone into it a lot, you are the right person for the job because you know it from every angle, you know it from every direction, and you're not afraid of it anymore. And another word I use for trauma is susto, because it's Spanish, and it lightens it up a bit,
Yeah.
and I sing it out or whatever. But it's more about I liked how you use that boulder terminology, and the stream and the current and the flow. When you work with any one of us in this room about whatever it is that you're resonating with, we're going to help move those boulders to the side of the creek so you can get the flow that you deserve. You've been working for it. You've already been putting lots of energy towards it. And we're like onions too. We're also like, sometimes boulders move back into the creek when a flood comes or it rains too much or something like that. And you got to like clear it again. Or it's something new you didn't know, because until you clear one thing, you don't know, you can't really see the next thing. And that's why it's so important to keep working with your mentors and coaches, and to keep, sometimes you navigate to a new coach for something specific, like creating a summit or something, right? And so I invite you to come into the VIP with us. At the very least, register for this summit. You're going to get so much value. There's tens of thousands of dollars of value from these coaches and mentors in the VIP. And it's $67,000. It's worth $67,000 and it's $67. So thank you so much.
Can I just add for VIP?
Yeah.
I was in your last session as one of the coaches who are given the laser coaching. And I have to say, like, the people who invested in VIP are truly blessed, because where do you see so many coaches supporting you with the questions that you have? And Teresa might answer in the chat because she was there with us and was there with us, just realizing so much support and so much value. And again, you are connected, you plugged into so much wisdom, and you are going to watch these interviews again and again and again. And like I said, the information lands differently each time we are watching them. So something might be like clicking the third time that you're watching, and you'd be like, wait a second, I never realized it the first two times. So I invite everybody. It's just like minimum way of showing that you are ready. How do we show that we are ready for something? We are actually taking the step in, right? We are actually making a decision. Okay, if I cannot invest into big high ticket items to hire the coach, at least I can invest in the VIP ticket, because this is the first step that I can take. And that's exactly how it is. Take the step that you can, because that's exactly how you are going to tap and manifest more cash.
Yeah. And you don't need to know the how, just one step at a time. I can only actually run this summit by doing one step at a time.
Yep.
So I just stay in the step I'm in, then I go to the next step. I'm so grateful for everyone who watched. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the speakers who are showing up beautifully and